Well, Britain's biggest cold store was opened today in the Cambridgeshire Fens. The £12 million facility in Wisbech is where much of the frozen food that we buy in supermarkets comes from. And for its 50 staff, it's certainly providing relief from the heatwave.
Britain's biggest fridge contains 77,000 pallets, holding chips, peas, legs of pork, you name it, all for distribution to supermarkets nationwide. Construction last year caused quite a stir in Wisbech, a cathedral of steel suddenly rising out of the ground, all to give local producers access to big-name customers. The latest technology means lorries containing 26 pallets can be emptied in 2 minutes.
In the UK, we're eating more frozen food than ever before. Last year, we bought almost 1.5 million tonnes of it. So where do you store it all, ready to restock our supermarket shelves at a moment's notice? You have to think big, and they don't come any bigger than this, known locally as the Ice Cube. This is Britain's biggest freezer. This mega freezer in Wisbech, Cambridge, is a central store for supermarkets and restaurants all over Britain. It's engineered for maximum efficiency and it's fully automated. Too many people coming and going make it harder to keep the temperature down. But I'm being allowed an exclusive look inside. I'm ready for the Arctic. Right. Over 650,000 tonnes of food pass through here every year, all moved around on robotic cranes and automated conveyor belts. The chances are some of the food in your freezer has been in here. The typical family freezer is only -18 degrees. That stops bacteria growing, but the flavour of the food can deteriorate after a few months. It's because not all the liquid in the cells of the food is frozen. At -27, more of the liquid freezes, so the flavour isn't lost as quickly. Food can be stored in here for up to a year, but I wouldn't want to hang around that long. The man who revolutionised the frozen food industry is American scientist and explorer Clarence Birdseye. While in the Arctic in 1917, he spotted that freezing fish quickly preserved their freshness. If you freeze food slowly, large ice crystals form. These rupture cells, so when the food is thawed, it turns mushy. But if you freeze food fast enough, you only get tiny ice crystals. No cell damage, no mush. Birdseye's breakthrough transformed our shopping habits, especially when domestic freezers became affordable in the 1950s. But why put our frozen food in an enormous place like this? You'd think it'd cost a fortune to keep cold. Well, it's big for a reason. Imagine that this big cardboard box is my huge freezer. The heat is trying to get into the freezer through the surface areas around here. Big cardboard box, big surface area. Surely it would be better, you might think, to have smaller freezers and cardboard boxes. Let's put it to the test. I've got 4 smaller boxes that make up the same volume as the big box. Let's take them apart and see which has the most surface area to lose cold through. The surface area of the big box is actually smaller than the surface area of the 4 little boxes put together. And if you scale this up to a huge freezer like this, the difference is enormous, which is why a huge freezer is hugely efficient. And food manufacturers like it, because it means they don't need their own individual cold stores, which are expensive to run. There's a hidden world keeping us constantly supplied with frozen food. We may not give it much thought, but we'd soon notice if cleverly engineered buildings like this weren't there.